Not as messy as as these revelations coming out regarding the jabs.
Yeah, the jabs,
Oh,
man.
that's what I'm gonna name this episode, bro. Jab, jab, hook.
Jab, jab, hook. Sheesh.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's been how long now that the jab came out? Like 3 years now, or
Yeah, it came out 2021.
2021?
I want to
Wow.
say because 2019 things were heating up, like late 2019. Then 2020 things was at a
Yeah,
turning
it was
point.
like the race to create the jab, right?
Right, right, right. And then they
It's
created it by March of 2021.
wow.
Started poking people up.
It's crazy, right? To create something so fast and implement it on humans.
Dude, you know what? We're gonna talk about it. Freaking. I don't know if you heard, but a lot of like it's Justin Trudeau, who's the Prime Minister of Canada. Sky News. I'm gonna see if I can get the link, and we're gonna put it on the. We're gonna clip this part, and we're gonna put it in the description. Sky News actually had a montage. Well, first off, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, came out saying, "Well, paraphrasing and allegedly, I didn't force any. We didn't force anybody to take the vaccine. We didn't threaten anybody. Everybody was free to decide whether to take the vaccine or not." Right? He's coming out now saying that. Well, Sky News did a montage of him saying, if you don't take the vaccine, you won't get access to public this, public that, public this, public that. You know, we're gonna come after you here. We're gonna come after you here. Well, that sounds like coercion to me. What do you think?
No, no, definitely, man. And it only didn't happen in Canada. I mean, it happened all over the world.
Bro, everybody, and the crazy thing is a lot of people followed America's lead. So
Yeah.
what America did, everybody else did. The issue is that the issue of the jab became so politicized. You know what I mean? Of the disease, it became so
Yeah.
politicized that one side of the aisle waited to see what the other side of the aisle was gonna do to then do the opposite.
Was there any country that was against the jab
Not that they were against the jab, but that they didn't.
or gave you a choice?
Sweden, I believe,
Also, they were pro-choice.
they were the real pro-choice. You know what I
Ah,
mean?
yeah.
But you know, I hope this doesn't get flagged, but whatever. Fauci came out and said, like, I didn't force anybody to shut down factories. I didn't force anybody to close down schools. And it's like, dude, you didn't. You might not have overtly said it, but if I tell you, yeah, you might want to take action to prevent this from spreading. Hint, hint. You know what I mean? What are they gonna say to that? And I think as more people are coming out now questioning the jab, a lot of people are now kind of trying to clean their hands off and start pointing fingers. Eventually, here's what's gonna happen. Here's what I think is gonna happen. You heard it here first. They're gonna wait some time when the side effects of the jab become you know, determined to be for sure that there's side effects and that there have been side effects. What they're gonna say is, well, it wasn't the jab. It was a long-term disease. The long-term disease effects of the disease
Oh, the after effects of the jab disease.
of the disease of C19. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're gonna wait for it because you know what it is. The longer you wait to address this, the more the waters get muddied, and the harder it is for you to retrace your steps. So the big farmers can just easily say, well, no, it's long. We did the studies. Long. It was a long C1. You know, long C19, and the Hill, the TV show The Hill. I'm annoyed by those guys. I really am because a couple of years ago we were all talking about, hey, we're worried about the side effects. Hey, this thing came out really quickly. Hey, uh, is it okay for us to be skeptical? Not okay, but like we're skeptical about this thing that you just developed. It's untested and you don't have any track record of how because if you tell somebody, oh, take the flu shot, well, you have decades, maybe I think decades
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's decades.
of trial and stuff like that, and you can see the effects. But this one, there was none of that, and you were made to seem like you were crazy, right wing extremist if you question an experimental drug. I'm sorry, but that's what it was. It was an experimental drug that nobody had long term studies for. That you had that they coerced you to put it in your body. Eventually, these guys come out and say, "We didn't force you to do anything." Well, if you threaten me to not be employed and not have access to certain things in society, what would you call that? Coercion? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Faux choice? You know?
Yeah.
And the Hill, they're actually talking about it now, and oh, could there have been some side effects? And I'm just thinking to myself, what a bunch of brave journalists talking about a controversial subject after it's safe to talk about the subject. You know, somebody was like, well, Kim Iverson talked about it on the Hill. Well, guess what? Kim Iverson is not on the Hill anymore, is she? And why is that? Because when Dr. Fauci went to interview for the Hill about a year and a half ago, Kim Iverson wanted to interview him because she was going to ask him the hard hitting questions. The Hill said no. The Hill said no. And Kim Iverson, shout out to Kim Iverson, she had a huge amount of integrity. She's like, yo, I have people who like what I do and respect what I do because of how I do it. If I'm not able to question Dr. Fauci, I can't work for you guys anymore. And she left.
Wow.
Right? And she left. So, you know, she was talking about it way before the Hill. Now the Hill is talking about it now that it's safe. It's annoying. It's annoying to me that now that it's safe to talk about it, everybody wants to talk about it. And you know, guys, I'm sorry, Jam. I feel like I'm hijacking the show. I'm rambling on here.
Yeah.
But I want you guys, and we want you guys to remember how you were treated for simply asking questions. Something came out, and they said, hey, you got to take this. And if you said, you guys developed that relatively quickly, I'm healthy, I'm young, I think I'd weather this, I'll be fine. And they called you a right-wing extremist, Trump supporter, anti-jabber, despite the fact that you got all your other medications. You know what I mean? People were so scared that they weren't thinking straight. The part that allowed them for critical thinking somehow was turned off to such a degree that they didn't even hear when you told them, no, I took all my other medications. I'm only skeptical about this one. No, I already had the disease. It was annoying for a little bit, but I'm okay now. I'm still running. No, I'm fine. I'm safe. If you are high risk, take the jab. They didn't listen to any of that stuff. Once you say you're skeptical of the jab, it was like in the movie They Live. Remember that movie They Live?
Yeah.
Where the guy puts the glasses on, and only in this case is the guy doesn't take the jab, and he's able to see like.
Yeah. But also another thing is that those that took the jab, you still got the disease. So it's like
That's the crazy, and that to me that is nuts. Where it's like, and we're probably beating a dead horse already here, but it's like, yo, how many times have you gotten polio or rubella?
I would have been dead, man. I got my my vaccines,
And it
man.
worked.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it worked. So if and you know what's funny, and I don't mind. My problem is not that it didn't work the way they said it would, because I understand that in the game of science, I understand that, but people like Neil deGrasse Tyson don't remember that. Other so-called scientists forgot. In the game of science, you say, and Neil deGrasse Tyson seemed like a little bit like he was kind of coming around to it. He says, look, and I'm paraphrasing here. Here's the data that we have so far, okay? With the data that we have so far, here's what we recommend. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Word of the day, Jay, pomposity. The pomposity in which these new newscasters and scientists or up and coming scientists, the pomposity in which they were saying, they were so sure, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna this medication is gonna stop the disease from transmitting, and it didn't. It did not. Now all of a sudden it's like, we never said that, or you know, whatever the case is. It just causing me to look at people funny style now, because obviously how they treated you for just asking questions. Like you said, how safe and effective is this? And they looked at you like if you said the earth was flat.
Yeah.
You know? What do you think?
Do you see this happening in the future, or?
Yeah, it will happen in the future. It's gonna, I don't know, you know, I don't know how people are gonna react. I don't know if people are gonna have such short memory that they're gonna once again listen to the news. You know what I mean? But and another bombshell came out with the Hill. They actually said Pfizer was out here lobbying people who were pushing for vaccine mandates.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find the link, and I'm gonna allegedly,
Yeah.
you know, we're gonna put the link in the description of the page, so you guys can check it out yourself. But supposedly, Pfizer was out here lobbying places that would push vaccine mandates. So I don't know, man. What do you think? Suspicious.
Yeah, man. I think what's gonna end up happening, hopefully, is that I hope that there's gonna be like a reset or something.
Let's see, man. I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because not only that, I mean, I don't want to move away from the whole like jab thing, but the now it's getting to the point of the information. What was that thing called?
Misinformation
No, no, not the misinformation. They were gonna pass this bill.
for the TikTok bill
No, it was the
to prevent users from using TikTok, but instead it had like VPN
yeah, VPN, all
restrictions.
that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot what the bill was.
yeah, but that bill. So it's not only affecting our health, but it's also affecting just our functionality in daily life, man. Like, not only they're gonna control like what we input in our body, but what we do as well. So
Yeah,
what we're allowed to do.
that's the idea. And if the crazy thing is, before we used to have common ground. We used to be like, I don't like you and you don't like me, but we can all agree on these fundamental rights. We don't even seems like we don't even have that anymore. If your team is doing something that is wrong, most people are okay with it because it's their team.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're not against the jab. We're not for the jab. We're against questioning. We're against not being allowed to question
Yeah, and
the
also
jab.
having the choice to be able to not want to take the jab.
But the thing is, and that's another thing too, like if supposedly if you took the jab, you were protected against the disease.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
So if you took the jab, why do you care if somebody took the jab or not? You're supposedly protected from it. And they're like, well, everybody has to take it for everybody to be protected against it. I'm not sure I follow that. What happens if only one person takes it? Why they're not protected? And I heard somebody said, well, the disease jumps from people to people and it mutates.
Yeah,
and,
mutate. That's another thing.
yeah.
There was like a whole bunch of different jabs that were created, man.
Oh, hey, you gotta get
Different-
paid, baby.
Different boosters and
Gotta get paid, baby. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
you gotta get paid, especially the
Big Pharma.
Big Pharma. Not only that, the people that were actually getting other diseases, they were being listed or labeled as,
That's a crazy thing to
as
me.
as that disease.
I-
died by that disease.
I don't know how people like. I feel like either they nobody was doing real journalism. That's another thing too. Because if real journalists,
Yeah,
should've-
what were the journalists doing? Were they covering
They were
Trump
be-
or
they were being
Trump
prop-
wasn't even the president.
they
at
were
that time.
being propaganda armed for Big Pharma
Yeah.
and for the politicians who were lobbied against Big Pharma. So the journalists, instead of saying, okay, well, this is happening. Hey, that's weird. Heart attacks have decreased this year substantially. Or heart attack, people who've passed away from heart attacks have decreased this year
Yeah.
substantially. Oh, flu, people who've passed away by the flu, that's decreased substantially.
Yeah.
Wow, is the disease somehow having a side effect of curing these things? Is the jab having a side effect of curing these things? What's going on here? If anybody just did, and that's what gets me mad about the Hill too. They want to come out and start breaking news. Like, no, bro, you guys had your chance. You know what I mean? To show us that you had some integrity, and you didn't do it. And I'm not even blaming the anchors of those shows because I'm sure they get
Pretty
orders.
scripted, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like nobody was pointing this out. You know what I mean? Nobody was suspicious about this. Some of the doctors that were coming out and they were saying, hey, this person passed away from, lung disease. But
The reason of death was always that disease.
yeah.
So, yeah, they messed with statistics, man. And also, like they say, follow the money, man. People were getting funding for that.
To me, that's not, like, you spend your whole, and this is for the specific people who, they spend their whole lives saying that these people lobby the government and we shouldn't trust big businesses. Big businesses are the enemy. They've been saying that for years and years and years. And somehow they were brainwashed immediately to just fall in line with the recommendations that big businesses were giving to the government that they lobby.
Yeah.
Like the critical thinking switch in their head just went off. And it's like, nobody, look, if somebody was to tell me I'm against, Big Pharma and I'm not taking the jab, I'm like, oh, that's in line with what you've always believed in. You know what I mean? Whether you healthy or not, you're intellectually consistent on this specific argument. Somebody says, I'm against big business and I don't trust big business, and all they do is just make stuff for profit. Well, then, come on, what's the next thing? Well, what? What's the next thing? What? Well, then could it be possible that this jab that they've developed for profit might not have been tested thoroughly, and they, like most big businesses, cut corners for profit. They're like, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter." You're like, "Dude, what? You were just you were just agreeing with me. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So, it's crazy.